What's going on, everyone? We finally made it to Friday. Hopefully, you have some good plans coming up. We just got to get through one more day, right? One more day of class. So, today we are going to see the further deterioration of Charlie. Things aren't going to go well for him. Kind of a theme for the last 3 days. And then we're going to watch a crash course, which is going to remind you about that guy Gardner's 9 different intelligences. In the video, they're going to talk about 8, but that's a little bit older than our book, where a ninth one was added. And then they're going to talk a little bit about how we briefly talked about how Nazis would experiment on people. And maybe you can make some sort of connection between what was being done to Charlie. I mean, it seems a little bit more good natured, but anything with Nazis, hopefully you're like, oh, bad people. That was bad. Not anything that we should try. And they're going to go over something called eugenics, which is basically trying to rid the human race of anything that was bad, any kind of like deformity or whatever, trying to make everybody as perfect as possible. We'll talk about, is that a good thing or a bad thing? So let's get into a little bit of Charlie right here. June 19th. The last thing we read was he had the Paradise Lost. He threw the book, getting a little violent, right? Remember? Algernon bit somebody. So I don't know. Let's see what happens here. How violent is he going to get? Sometimes at night, I go out for a walk. Last night, I couldn't remember where I lived. A policeman took me home. I have the strange feeling that this has all happened to me before, a long time ago. I keep telling myself I am the only person in the world who can describe what's happening to me. Now, we don't know, like, the fact that he can't find his home, like, is he worse off now than he was before he had the operation? We know of that one time where his drink was spiked and he needed help from a police officer to get home. He didn't write progress reports, so we don't know. But did this happen to him often? Like, he couldn't remember where he lived. Moving on, June 21st. Why can't I remember? I've got to fight. I lie in bed for days and I don't know who or where I am. Then it all comes back to me in a flash. Fugues of amnesia. That's a musical term. Symptoms of senility. Second childhood. I can watch them coming on. It's so cruelly logic. I learned so much so fast. Now my mind is deteriorating rapidly. And that's that equation he came up with that we read about yesterday. The quicker you gain intelligence, the quicker you will lose it. I won't let it happen. I'll fight it. I can't help thinking of the boy in the restaurant, the blank expression, the silly smile, the people laughing at him. No, please, not that again. June 22nd. I'm forgetting things that I learned recently. It seems to be following the classic pattern. The last things learned are the first things forgotten. Or is that the pattern? Better look it up again. I reread my paper on the Algernon Gordon effect, and I get the strange feeling that it was written by someone else. There are parts I don't even understand. Motor activity impaired. I keep tripping over things, and it becomes increasingly difficult to type. Hopefully you can't hear Mr. Bim's TV in the next room, but it is a little distracting to me. I will keep reading. June 23rd. I've given up using the typewriter completely. My coordination is bad. I feel that I'm moving slower and slower. Had a terrible shock today. I picked up a copy of an article I used in my research. Kruger's, that's German. I'm not even going to try. All right, but one word there, Uber. That's become pretty well known in, English now because of the driving, Uber driver or whatever. But it comes from German, and it just means like above everybody else. Like, think of it like upper or something maybe, or very. But Uber, it's in German. It's an adjective meaning like more than, like better than everything else or something like that. Hopefully that makes sense. But that German to me doesn't make sense. So I'm going to skip it, but it's a title of something. To see if it would help me understand what I had done, first I thought there was something wrong with my eyes. Then I realized I could no longer read German. I tested myself in other languages. all gone. June 30th, a week since I dared to write again. So luckily, I'm not really paying attention to the dates too much, but luckily he helped us out with that. Like, it's been a week since he's written. It's slipping away like sand through my fingers. Most of the books I've read are too hard for me now. I get angry with them because I know that I read I read and understood them just a few weeks ago. All right. So more violence, more anger. He even says it right there. I get angry. So, as someone in one class, one person spoiled everything, we do know that ultimately Charlie is going to kill Dr. Namor. So, the author is giving us some hints like, oh, I get angry. I threw the book across the room. Maybe the next time somebody comes in, he's going to throw somebody across the room instead of a book, right? I mean, his coordination, though, is nothing. Maybe he accidentally trips. I don't know. But we do know that somebody is going to die, right? That's what somebody in another class said. Dr. Namor is going to die. All right, right here. I keep telling myself that I must keep writing these reports. So let me make this bigger. So that someone will know what is happening to me, but it gets harder to form the words and remember spellings. I have to look up even simple words in the dictionary now, and it makes me impatient with myself. More pent-up anger. Dr. Strauss comes around almost every day, but I told him I wouldn't see or speak to anybody. He feels guilty. They all do. But I don't blame anyone. I knew what might happen. But how it hurts. Well, that's good. At least right now, he doesn't blame anyone. Could that change? All right, maybe this will be the last one that we read here because we do have that video we will be watching. July 7th. I don't know where the week went. Today's Sunday, so there should be an apostrophe there. He's forgetting apostrophes now. Today's Sunday. I know. All right, missed a period there too. I know because I can see through my window people going to church. I think I stayed in bed all week, but I remember Miss Flynn bringing food to me a few times. I keep saying over and over, I've got to do something, but then I forget, or maybe it's just easier not to do what I say I'm going to do. Remember, Miss Flynn is his landlord. I think of my mother and father a lot these days. I found a picture of them with me taken at a beach. My father has a big ball under his arm. My mother is holding me by the hand. I don't remember them the way they are in the picture. All I remember is my father arguing with mom about money. He never shaved much, and he used to scratch my face when he hugged me. He said he was going to take me to see cows on a farm once, but he never did. He never kept his promises. I would like to keep reading, but probably a good place for us to stop. We got the landlady, Miss Flynn. She's worried about him. Yeah, probably. Yeah, good place for us to stop. I don't know if we had many conversations along the way. Just seems like things are getting worse. Apparently, he knew German. We didn't know that. We knew he knew a bunch of other languages, but he also knew German. So I guess the question that I keep asking, like, was it all worth it for Charlie? Was it all worth it for him? And maybe in the grand scheme of things, if humans can become exponentially smarter, is he just one of the failed experiments that has to happen on the way to becoming like this? Actually, man, in the video, I believe they are going to mention Uber again. Man, it's about a 14-minute video, but we'll pause that. But think of Uber. It is from the German. A lot of psychology in the early days, in the early part of the 20th century, like the early 1900s, like Germany was on the cusp, like the front of the psychological movement. So a lot of the original stuff was written in German and then translated to English. But Ubermensch, I believe, is what we will be talking about in the video. All right, video, working class, Frankenbeans, weekend. Who can argue with